Matter is everywhere. It is anything that takes up space and has mass. Matter is constantly experiencing chemical and physical changes. For example, if you change something physically, it may look, act, or feel different, but it is still the same thing. The molecules have not changed. When you tear apart and reshape this piece of clay, it looks different, but it is still a piece of clay. That is a physical change. Another good example of a physical change is grating chalk powder into chalk dust. Even though the texture and size has changed, the molecules are still the same. Another example of a physical change is boiling water. When water boils, the water changes into steam, but is still water. It is also easy for the steam to turn back into water. When water boils, a physical change takes place. Matter can also change and become something completely different that is called a chemical change. A chemical change is irreversible. That means it cannot change back. Think about pancakes. The batter is a liquid mixture of flour, sugar, water, and other ingredients. When you heat the batter on the griddle, the batter becomes a solid. You cannot change it back into flour, sugar, water, and the other ingredients. The batter has made a chemical change that is irreversible and it has become something new. A pancake. Another example of a chemical change is when you burn a match. The head of the match and the matchstick changes colors to black as ash is formed. Ash is a new substance that is chemically different than the match prior to burning. Making toast would be another good example of a chemical change. The surface of the bread has been changed by heat. A new substance has been formed on the surface of the bread. Now that we've explored the difference between a physical and a chemical change, let's look at a few more examples and you try to decide. The materials needed for this experiment is a glass of water, sugar, and a stirring stick. As sugar dissolves in water, it disappears and seems to become part of the water. But if boiled, the sugar becomes visible again. The materials needed for this experiment are a fire-resistant container, scraps of paper, and a lighter. When paper is burned, the new substances produced are ash, carbon dioxide, and water. The ash, carbon dioxide, and water cannot be recombined to make the paper again. The materials needed for this experiment is a doll with hair and scissors. The hair was cut, but is still hair. No new substances were formed. It was only made shorter. The materials needed for this experiment are protective covering, a sheet of glass, and something to break the glass with. When glass is broken, no new substance is formed after the glass breaks. Only the size of the glass changes. The materials needed for this experiment is a source of heat and an egg. When heat is applied to cook the egg, the properties of the raw egg and the cooked egg are completely different. The egg has changed and cannot be altered back to the way that it was prior to cooking. The materials needed for this experiment is a clear container, vinegar, and baking soda. When vinegar and baking soda are combined, the mixture foams as carbon dioxide gas bubbles out.